Alright, hello everybody. It is Andrew, and welcome back to another episode of Skate Progression. This episode is for March the 13th, 2024, and we are going to be working on frontside 180 attempts again today. Again, potentially a bit ahead of what should be my schedule, and still not wearing any protective gear, but that will change in the very near future. And additionally still recording on my phone, but as you can see, I'm actually kind of able to get the board around a little bit, but it's not very clean or anything like that. And I'm not moving as well, which is a pretty big part of these early videos where I pretty much didn't do anything moving almost at all, except for some, the ollies. I sort of got down moving decently, but with this trick that I'm learning, it's not really rolling, and it is a bit, I don't know, some people debate that it's easier to learn this trick while rolling, or any trick, but I don't know. Seems like part of the issue I would be having here is I'm not really winding up my shoulders prior, and I'm actually starting to learn this trick for real currently in July, so I'm kind of using this as a good way to look back on what I maybe struggled with and how I can do it better nowadays. I feel like that one was pretty close. One thing that I realized about frontside 180s that I haven't heard in many videos or anything like that is very helpful to think about is how you're pivoting and how you're landing, like how the spin is actually taking place, I guess, to the point where you're pivoting. You want to be pivoting ideally around your front truck. It's not like you're spinning the board in place like a shove it, because you're also turning your body and you're using that to turn the board. So it's more akin to a frontside pivot on the ground, just with an ollie as well. And as a result of that, you really don't want to be landing on your back truck first. And I do try and take some of these on while moving in in future episodes. And I get one, I remember getting one that I thought was a decent land, but then looking at it now, I see that that is clearly one of the issues I had, where I am doing the spin and then landing, but I land on my back truck first, the truck that starts in the back and ends in the front, and that is really not conducive for rolling away very well, because you're kind of just like whipping the board around and not really getting any height or anything to it, and then the actual pivot point that you're meant to be going around, which makes it easier to do, that being the front truck, landing second is not, again, just not ideal for how things should be when they're going to be going well. As you can see, I'm still also not super comfortable on the board. This, of course, if you haven't noticed, is the longest episode of the series yet. I do stop the session or the recording. I probably went to check on what I was doing and where I could improve, but there's this first, I think, 6-minute segment, and then the second recording I do is 18 minutes long, so quite a long session of recording this time around. I'm probably going to try some moving regular ollie here, which was just an absolute disaster, but yeah, that's how it is sometimes. But yeah, so I'm probably not going to be talking for the full duration of this video. I'm going to be transitioning the style more to how I'll have it in the future, where it's mostly just going to be the raw skate session, and maybe I'll interject a comment here or there, but it's mainly meant to be me battling these tricks, and maybe you can see things that will help you learn your tricks more easily that I struggle with and overcome potentially, or things like that. But again, I'm always open to feedback. Like, if people want me to just sit here and ramble and talk about nonsense while the skating goes on in the background, and maybe making a comment here or there about what's going on, then I could do that as well. I'll just have to see, I guess, how things develop. If people actually end up following and watching this series. I do appreciate all the people who have tuned in thus far. And, of course, if you are someone who is interested in following the journey, then definitely hit the subscribe button to stay up to date. Throw me a like to show your support. Maybe leave me a nice little comment with any feedback or thoughts you might have as well. Yeah, really looking forward to the days when I can be unimpeded at the tennis court again with the weather, when the weather cools down again. And it doesn't even have to get that cold for the people who live in my area to think it's too cold to go outside. Ooh, that one was actually not terrible. But again, I'm more landing on the back truck first, which from what I understand is not good. Like, I'm kind of just popping into the spin immediately instead of like popping and then starting the spin and like leveling out the board as I go. You know what I mean? But that's probably also because I wasn't super great at leveling out the board to begin with prior to doing these, and I probably should have gotten a bit better at my normal ollies before doing this, and I should have gotten more comfortable on the board before even starting ollies to begin with. You can see I'm getting maybe a bit frustrated there, but yeah, so that's probably why I stopped this recording right here. Almost went for a frontside flip there or something. But yeah, we stopped this session and then same day jump into another session. Different camera angle, but as well. Leaning the phone up against the fence, I guess, this time. But yeah, this I don't think I end up getting a very clean one during this session, but I have to wait and see. I mean, yeah, the classic trying to practice it from this position. I haven't really found that to be very useful for myself. I don't know. But there's more exercises that I can try to get my various tricks and things better. I'm also, looks to me like I'm bending my knees in a weird way. Let me watch this again, this next attempt. Yeah, kind of like bending my knees outwards almost instead of just straight forward, if that makes any sense. And I love how I still do this thing where I get into tail position before every attempt. That's kind of funny. Oh yeah, do some off the board. That's actually something that I found surprisingly helpful in certain scenarios, is just trying to mimic the actions without the board. Doesn't seem to have done me much good here, but again, that can be surprisingly helpful. I'm really looking forward to when I get to the point where I'm going for the shove it, because I mean, not really a big spoiler, but now when I'm recording this commentary in July, I can do shove-its pretty much every time. I've got them down pretty well. But I struggled with those things, so it's going to be kind of interesting to watch back on my struggling with it and see how it goes. See if I can immediately spot now that I know what the issue is. See, that one almost looked like it was a bit more of the proper form, but I didn't get very good spin on it. And that was just an embarrassing display, not even an attempt, I would call it. But yeah, I am, of course, as you can see, wearing shorts in this video. I see a lot of people comment about people who skate wearing shorts, and I kind of don't understand it too much. I mean, I realize that if you wear pants to kind of protect your legs from getting hit by the board and getting, like a bad shinner. But I mean, at this point I probably could have still been wearing pants, given it's probably not too hot, but like currently in summer, it's like, ooh, that one was actually pretty good, it looks like, maybe. Frame rate on this phone camera, obviously not ideal. Once I get my real camera, that'll be 60 FPS and also in 4K, I believe, so that should be a much higher quality and a lot easier to like do slow motion and see what things are happening. But yeah, I mean, I definitely experience issues with shinners doing shove-its, so I definitely understand the pain that they can cause. I don't know, I mean, I think I'd just rather have that be a possibility, or even just wear shin guards than wear jeans in the heat of summer and just be like have the most sweaty legs of my entire life. I don't know. Maybe I'm just showing my stupidity and lack of experience with skating by saying that, but I don't know, it's just how it seems to me. And I mean, maybe that also comes with people who, if maybe you don't wear pads, having the jeans to maybe take some impact of a nasty slam. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm just gonna be continuing to send these frontside 180 attempts. And as you can see, struggling quite a bit with actually getting. Yeah, you can see that. That's kind of where I'm doing things wrong. Like I'm not really popping it as an ollie. I'm popping it almost as if it's needing to spin as I slip out a bit there. But it looked like it wasn't too bad. Just I fell properly, at least. Not something I do every time, don't worry. I certainly have already accumulated a decent amount of painful slams. But yeah, as I said, I'm not gonna probably ramble on for this entire duration. I might quiet down for a bit here while I continue to send these attempts, but again, leave any feedback you have in the comments if you'd like for me to just talk about whatever. Then I can do that as well. It'll just make it a little bit harder to make these videos. Like, I'll probably, once I move over to the more vlog style that I've been doing for a while now, where I talk and do intros and stuff at the time, you know, in the moment, I probably won't have as much of this commentary during the skating, because at that point, also during the skating, I like, you know, will say some random stuff. So yeah, that's that. But let's all just enjoy these attempts for a little while here, see how it goes. I do appear to be getting a bit frustrated with it, which is fair enough. I mean, it is definitely a grind getting new tricks down. But I have no idea. This guy on the screen has no idea the horrors that are to come with 95+ degree days in the summer. Grinding tricks in that heat is much more difficult. Now that was a clear full rotation. But I mean, both feet were on the board, technically. Obviously not good enough to call it a make. Alright, so not sure how audible that was, but I said both feet were on the board, technically not good enough, obviously, to call it a make. But that was definitely a good full rotation, and my front foot was fine, I think, but then my back foot was like barely on with the toes. But yeah, I mean, that shows some progress at least. But yeah, I mean, still, for this entire frontside 180 arc that I go on here, learning or trying to learn this trick, I don't believe I ever quite get it to the point where it's properly like landing my front truck first or whatever, you know, pivoting around that point properly. Even there, it's more so I mean, that's what ends up happening when you do it as more of a rocket ollie that spins. That's kind of how I'm doing them, it seems. And oftentimes I'll leave my foot behind or do, you know, nothing consistent about it at this point.
Oh, that was really close.
That was really close.
That was like
and I'm already
150 degrees.
Yeah, 150 degree rotation there-ish. I don't know.
Oh. Come on.
You can kind of see myself already starting to talk more as I get more into the recordings of my skating. And the next episode we have will be for March 14th, which will mark the, I think, 4th day or 5th day in a row that I had recorded. And then after that, it would be March 21st. And then I think on episode 10, March 25th, is when we get the camera. So that's pretty cool. That'll be a nice transitional milestone.
Stop rolling forward.
Getting a bit frustrated at this point. This tennis court isn't exactly completely flat. And yeah, right there was an example of why people, I guess, wear pants. Yeah, you can see more that, like from that attempt, that I'm more so trying to like almost fling the board into the rotation and then follow it a little bit rather than bringing it around with my front foot. But even still, maybe that's part of it as well. I'm no expert. At least not yet. That one wasn't too bad as far as...
165 degrees? Close enough?
I mean, I think that'd probably be a passable, acceptable...
Give me one more. Come on.
Just one more, he says, as the video still has... What is this, like 5 minutes left? So that can't be a good sign. Or is it 6 minutes even? Hard to tell what time it's currently at on my recording software that I'm watching this on. A lot of the videos I watch also show people doing frontside 180s where they land on their front wheels partway through the rotation and finish it with a pivot. Which is again kind of emphasizing that fact that you want to land on those front wheels first, or you know, you still want to have the board being leveled out, basically, which I don't know, from what I can see, that is not what I'm doing here. Still loving that tail position. I don't really know when I stopped doing that. I kind of forgot that I used to do that. Where I just put the board in under my back foot in the tail position and then step it down like that. Looks very silly and goofy. Yeah, I don't know when I stopped doing that. It must be not too far in the future because I kind of forgot that it was even something I did. Yeah, something that's also difficult with trying to learn tricks and watching videos and tutorials on YouTube is everyone's got these perfect, beautiful tricks that they show, and they're like, that's the trick. And then they give you the steps on how to do it. You know, the so-called steps, and then they demonstrate them apparently doing the steps, and it's just perfect every time and flawless. When, of course, when you're a beginner like me, that's absolutely not how your first tricks of any kind are going to look. So, you know, basically flawless. So I wish people were maybe more... I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how people could do it better at the same time. Like, maybe aside from having people there who are also learning and them being taught. Like, if I ever get to the point where I'm good enough to be maybe making tutorials for whatever reason, if that's even something I'd be interested in, which isn't necessarily true, I'll definitely be saving all of this footage that I have, and then certainly would refer back to older footage of myself on things that I struggled on and how my, you know, first makes looked and how I improved them over time, because that is absolutely what it takes for a lot of these. But as you can see, I mean, I'm starting to get it a bit more consistently. It seems like getting the board to come around more and kind of landing on it. But again, there's another one that's kind of indicative of me just flinging the board almost in a front side shove it and just following it around with my feet and body. That one was quite close as well. I think I might have forgotten about my just one more request. But I look like I'm getting a bit tired. Yeah, in these upcoming summer month videos, I truly don't remember ever in my life being as sweaty as I get while skating in hot weather, or even in cold weather. Like, skating in cold weather, I end up having to take my coat off or whatever, because, man, do you get warm. And that's cool, and it's a great exercise as well. I mean, prior to picking up skating, I mostly didn't really go outside a whole lot. I work from home and didn't really have any sports that I did or exercise that I did much. Yeah, these aren't too bad so far, but you know, I would go on walks fairly often, you know, but even then that was only a semi-recent thing, so having this to act as my form of exercise is fantastic, and I absolutely love doing it. So fun. Like, even when I come back home from a session where I maybe slammed or didn't quite get done what I wanted, I mean, I still just think to myself, man, skating is so fun. Like, I can't wait to get back out there. And it's only going to get more fun as I get better. I'm sure of that. As I get better and as I get tricks down that I can consistently do, it's going to be a glorious thing. Yeah, we are approaching the end of the session here, so I hope you all did enjoy this one. Again, a bit of a longer video compared to some of the others, but all of the videos will vary pretty wildly in length generally, especially considering a decent portion of them are going to be just me saying I'm not heading out for the day because of rain or injury or whatever. But even the ones that have skating in, or I do go out, there'll be quite a bit of variability there as I, you know, depending on what I'm working on and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to let myself give some thoughts.
Phone's about to die. I'll have to do it. Tomorrow we'll get a clean make. Somewhere debatable here. A lot were close.
And that's that. So yeah, I proclaimed that I will get a clean make in the next video, so you'll have to tune in to see if that prediction comes true. And some were definitely debatable in the video you watched, but nothing quite as good as I was hoping to get. But that's going to be it. We'll be back next time to see if I can get that clean make that I so desire. But either way, no matter what happens, I will see you guys next time for some more skate progression.